This is the site of the First Catholic Chapel. It's also the site of the fact where I learned from a person with an Irish accent that there is no beer or alcohol in Ireland. Yes, I had a group of third graders here and told the story I'm about to tell you, and the mother, when she heard the story from the child, called me up and said, "We've been to the old country, and it's not like you said. Irishmen don't drink." And I was cautious not to mention poutine and beer and Guinness and all of those things. And I had to write an essay on all the famous Irish people that have lived in Easton. However, I'm going to tell the story with trepidation. This is the site of the Catholic Chapel, okay? And this was based on the fact that the Ameses, particularly the old man, didn't want to hire the Irish when they came here. He liked Yankees. Why did he like Yankees? They went to church on Sunday and they went to school the rest of the week, and they came out as sober, well-educated citizens. And of course, the poor Irish immigrants who were coming over here had been too poor to go to school and didn't have an opportunity to go to church on Sunday simply because there weren't a lot of priests. So when the two boys, Oliver and Oakes, convinced their dad they'd have to hire the Irish, the line was, if first best won't do, we have to get second best. They built this chapel, and the chapel held services about once every 4 weeks because there was an itinerant priest until the middle part of the 19th century, when St. Mary's Church was built up on Main Street and was passed out of use. But, and this wasn't me, the Ameses had a few stereotypes about the Irish. We all know they're not true, but the Irish drank a lot, and when they drank, they tended to cause trouble. Okay? So, this is also the site of the first jail. And the theory was of the Ameses that the people who had had too much to drink on Saturday night would benefit from hearing the hymns being sung on Sunday morning, after which they'd be released so they could make work on Monday morning. Okay, that's the story. All right, whether you believe that or not, or whatever your belief in the alcoholic capacities of different ethnic groups is, that's what the Ameses believed at one time or another. Before we continue the march down the street, I think we may actually have to turn around a little short of where I wanted to go. But I do want to also mention that an angel of mercy was born on this street, someone I consider to be maybe equally important to Clara Barton, who invented the Red Cross, or perhaps even Mother Teresa. Yes, Ruth Graves, a graduate of Oliver Ames, was born here. Now, you may not have heard of Ruth. She didn't become famous until she married Ruth Wakefield. She invented the chocolate chip cookie. Now, that may not seem so important, but a really good chocolate chip cookie can be a lifesaver. All right, and it is our state cookie. So not every state has one. She was born down here, and her classmates tended to look down on her. She talked too much, they said. They called her Babbling Bess, and she was a Yankee girl, and this was a sort of a Swedish neighborhood. And the belief was that Yankees all took the college course, and the Swedes all took the commercial course. Well, she took the commercial course because right from the start, she wanted to be a dietitian, and that's how she got into the restaurant business. Some of you may be old enough, I am, to remember the Toll House restaurant, which is a classic restaurant. And I heard a lot about it in my youth because that's where my parents' wedding reception was held. All right.
Where's the Toll House now? Where was it?
It was across the street from Saffler's on Route 18.
Yeah.
It's a Wendy's now, yes.
Still a sign there, I think.
Yes, yeah. Because the Toll House itself was historic before it became the wonderful restaurant that it was. If you'd like to get the recipe, we actually do have copies of the original recipe at the Historical Society.
That was the Toll House cookie that you invented?
Absolutely. traction rods back in my car. Okay, it was my original goal, if I didn't babble on so much, to take you a little bit further down to Langwater Pond. And as, again, many of you may know, the town, from the generous gift of Oliver F. Ames, who passed away in 2007, has a piece of conservation land on the edge of Pond Street there. It's definitely worth pulling in someday and walking down there. This is a huge rock formation that overlooks Langwater Pond. Spectacular and very beautiful. You can't see it from Main Street. It's really interesting. Many of my high school students know that you're pretty busy here, but I just recently discovered it as a place to go fishing.
So how do you access it through this road?
Yes. There's a path that goes back, and then it splits. One end goes down to the lower part, and then the other part goes up to the rock formation. There's a big sign there. Just park next to the sign. Yeah. Okay, this is Shovel Shop Pond. It has fish in it. I can look at the big fish too.
They go ice fishing.
Yeah. They actually stocked this with trout one day. I had a student who was an avid fisherman. He didn't show up to school for the next 3 days. But that's probably a pickerel out there making that big splash. Jeez. All right. Well, let's get this over with so I can get back with my. No. Can I get my Shovel Shop Pond, as I said, was created in 1792 by Eliphalet Leonard III. There are no remains of the factory buildings over here, but the house that Oliver Ames bought is right over here, 46 Pond Street. And 46 Pond Street was allegedly built in 1792, but it's a wonderful example of a Cape Cod house. It was a 3/4 Cape, we think. And it was basically the window to the right of the door and the 2 windows on the other side that he bought. So it was a 3/4 Cape. The chimney was probably put in later. The Ames family still owns this, by the way. It was created in 1792. There's, we talked a little bit about dating houses and capes last time. And the Bears and Blossom Shop, or what the pink library building now, has the windows right up close to the eaves. You can see that this one's a little bit further down. Chaffin, there's an errata in his history of Easton. He says this is the oldest house in Easton, which I constantly mentioned to the real owner of the oldest house. It's on Bay Road. Chaffin said this was the house, but he made a mistake. The interesting part about this is that that when the Ameses bought it in 1803, they added this 2-story addition. And on the second floor, in one of the rooms on the second floor, the future Congressman Oakes Ames was born. And then later on, that other little piece was added onto the end. So the house is here, and it's still in the family as a rental. I'd like us, if you can, to follow me out on here, and we'll just take a quick look at the original Shovel Shop site. This is called the Island. And it's called the Island because it's surrounded on both sides by ponds.